We've just got back from UK Games Expo, and this might be our biggest haul ever. Hey, I'm Libby, this is Julian, and together we are BoxedMeeples. Now, we've just come back from the UK Games Expo, and we brought a bootload, but a truckload of games home with us. We think this could be our biggest haul ever. We've been very lucky to be gifted some, and obviously we've shed out some pounds from our wallets as well.
Without further ado, let's go through each of them and we'll tell you why we've got them and who we got them from.
Yeah. First up, we've got a lovely cup of tea here.
Cheers to this.
I'm very much a tea drinker, and thank you very much to the Tea Party for this wonderful cup of tea. It's they do their teas in like different classes, so you can get a barbarian tea, and they all have different flavours, kind of trying to represent different classes, which is a really fun idea for some gamers. This one's the Paladin one, which is an aromatic white tea, and it is smooth and light with a touch of vanilla and grenadine purity, a highly charismatic combination. So whilst we are here, we are having a little sip of this, which is delicious. So yeah. I think that they're on Kickstarter now, so have a little search to see if you fancy some gamer tea.
So this is made by the people who normally make kind of jelly sweets, and they're branching out into different things. I'm not really a tea drinker, which might, I think the king might be coming to lock me in the Tower of London because I don't drink tea.
You're all about the coffee, I'm all about the tea.
This is nice, I'm enjoying it, and I enjoyed the barbarian one, so maybe I could become a tea convert.
So I will mention at this point that we did speak to quite a few people whilst we were there at the Games Expo, and we have arranged to do content for several bits and bobs coming up. So we've got a few prototype games, we've got some games that are going to be shipped to us, we've got some games that sort of aren't quite ready, or that they didn't have the shipment amount at the games to give out review copies for. So there are going to be a few additions to this that are sort of in the pipework, and we'll talk about those as they come about. Obviously sort of we keep separating prototypes and things like that from this, so this is just the sort of complete finished games that we're going to talk about here today, and then you'll see more about other stuff later on.
Yeah, so we did receive some games literally just before we left. We ordered some and they arrived because some of these I wanted to get. So for example, we got the Kickstarter edition for Flamecraft, but sadly we were missing the Pink Dragon for various reasons, and it's available briefly from Cardboard Alchemy. I kind of swooped in there and got one of the Pink Dragons while we could. I think it's since sold out, so really pleased we got a chance to get it. We don't need it for the game, we never play that big a player count, but I wanted all the Flamecraft in there, so I'm pleased we got that.
There's a little hole for this little pink one, so it'd be nice to
bring the dragon family back together.
Exactly.
And we were also sent a game called Royal Realms, which is a card game sent to us, which we're keen to play and go through. This is from Hobby Doctor Games, and we're going to we're going to take this with us on holiday and have a good playthrough, so you'll probably hear about this more when we talk about games we played at the end of the month. Yeah.
We also picked up Disney Sidekicks at a local store to us. It was on a huge sale, and we love a Disney game, so we couldn't pass this one up. It had been more awkward to get previously, and then all of a sudden we saw it there and thought, wow,
it's really cheap. It was sort of £6, so I considered paying a lot more from importing it from America, because it just wasn't available here. So suddenly I saw it in there and was like, is that priced right? I shall grab it when we can.
Yes, please.
So we got the Disney Sidekicks.
Yes, we're excited for that one too.
And finally, we technically bought this before we went to the expo, but we did collect it from Dissent Games at the expo. Labyrinth, you would have seen quite a lot of content on this, but this is the Kickstarter edition, which is we've just got because we backed on Kickstarter after making the Kickstarter video. So have a watch of that if you're interested in finding out what Labyrinth is, but it's nice to actually have a physical copy, and it's really heavy.
Yeah,
there's a lot in here.
Since we did the content on that for the Kickstarter video, the bits and bobs that you get in here have just gone up in quality so much. The dragon with the screen printing is amazing. So, and the tiles are all a bit bigger. So it'd be good to get the sort of copy proper to the table.
Yeah, please play it again.
Yeah.
So we're at the UK Games Expo proper now. These are all things we picked up while we were there. And we're going from Disney to Disney. If you might remember, on my top 10 games I was most excited about was Disney Animated, and guess what we've got our hands on?
So excited!
Yeah, I was really looking forward to getting this where we went, and this was given to us by the lovely people at Funko Games.
It was. Thank you very much to them.
So, yeah, I'm really, as you would have seen in the video, have a watch of that. This is a game I'm very excited to play about. So.
We also got from Funko, we picked up, I mean, sticking sort of with the Disney theme really, we picked up from their stand a copy of Star Wars Rivals, which looks fab, and we've got one box of dark character and another box with a light character. I like that you, like it's a bit of a potluck as to who you're going to get inside these, but it looks like a really fun set, one that's, you know, going to be family friendly, that we can get to the table a lot. It's nice and compact as well, so I mean obviously if you get loads of characters it might end up being a bit bigger, but yeah, this is one that we couldn't go without.
Yeah, I only found about Star Wars Rivals just before we left. It's kind of announced on Star Wars Day, and this is going to be exclusive to game once it's available to buy. I think it's been released this week.
Yeah.
But had a pre-release kind of at the UK Games Expo. So yeah, we have 5 characters here, 6 characters. Once we open these up, and yeah, I think this might be the start of going to game a lot to buy little packs of additional mystery characters. But,
yeah, and you made the joke that maybe we should get some of my jeweler scales out and start weighing them to see whether it's going to be a same character or not.
But yeah, it's a fun 2-player kind of dueling game. So looking forward to playing that. And we bought these when we were at Funko.
Yeah. Whilst we were at the press preview with Funko as well, we were very lucky to get a nice big pack from them. They were very, very kind. We thank you very much. And so we have Something Wild, this little sort of Indiana Jones game, which is nice and compact. It's got one of those cute little figures in there that you
they look like the normal Funkos, but they're kind of reduced down. I've seen these quite a lot in various shops with different characters and different themes on them. So yeah, if we, again, a bit like Star Wars Rivals, if we play this and actually find we really enjoy it, I suspect we'll be buying more of our favourite characters in the Something Wild range.
I mean, this one with his hat on, I mean, you could get away with a bit of Tom Vassell here.
Yeah, we've got the Something Wild Tom Vassell edition.
In that bag was also Big Boss, which looks really exciting. At the back of here, you've got loads of huge buildings. It makes a nice little shaky sound. So yeah, that one looks really exciting to give a try. We don't really have many kind of like city building kind of games, so that'll be interesting.
It's a modernisation of the Wolfgang Kramer game, kind of re-skinned, really updated, and the fact it has got these miniatures on just makes it look so great on the table. You might have seen it in some of our game footage. I'll show some bits of this. So looking forward to playing that one. I didn't really expect it, so it's nice. Obviously they're incredibly generous, but we wouldn't necessarily consider this, so I'm pleased we're going to get a chance to. Yeah,
it's great when there's like a little surprise that you wouldn't have, and then it ends up being something you absolutely love. Cranium is in its 25th year, and so they have a new version of that. So that was also in that press pack that they very kindly give us. So that was interesting. One that I remember being around when I was younger, but I don't think I've played this game in many years. So it'd be interesting to see how much of that I actually remember.
So it's been slightly modernised, obviously more modern questions, updated questions. But yeah, in a much more appealing package for today's kind of
I love this colour. It's quite eye-catching and vibrant, isn't it? So
yeah, it's been like you. It's been a long time since I played Cranium, so yeah, I remember having lots of family fun with this. So hopefully we will too.
And lastly, there's more Indiana Jones. This time, Sands of Time. And this one, I mean, what caught my eye when we were there at the press preview was this big sand timer that has obviously turns around. So that looks super fun and interesting again. And it's got nice little figures of Indy and some of the others from the film. So again, I think that Funko do an IP game really well.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to get this classic, because I remember when we were young in our household, we were always watching Indiana Jones. So it's always fun to go down memory lane.
And we played quite a few of the IP games. Obviously, Back to the Future, Back in Time was by Funko as well. So yeah, and like you said, the egg time on this, you would have seen in one of the videos, is a big centerpiece on the table. It's really eye-catching. So it's got a lot of table presence. Yeah, looking forward to playing. Now, you didn't get to go in the Bing and Buy this year.
No, I mean, I tried on a lunch break and the queue was too big. There was never going to have been enough time. There were some significant queuing issues this year, I would say.
For me, the Bing and Buy is synonymous with queuing this year,
Yeah.
more so than previous years. Obviously, when we dropped the games off, we've talked about that. That was not ideal. And even then, when we went to collect the money for games we've sold, again, more queuing to get in. So it meant that you had to kind of set an hour aside before you'd even had a chance to kind of look over the shelves to pick your games, which wasn't ideal again.
No, and we tried to drop our games off twice. So yeah, a little bit of a pickle there. But you did get some
with
fun,
all that
great
said,
things.
I did. Like, I do enjoy the Bing and Buy. I do look forward to going. I was trying to look around with a view to what you might like, but
I would written pages and pages of post-its with names of games, ideal prices that I thought was reasonable for them. I mean, I think I made your life easy, but
well, it's difficult to know. Obviously, they're all second hand, and you start to weigh in. You know, is this worth what they're charging? We've talked about this on many videos.
Yeah. And there was a couple of things that you did see that I had sort of mentioned on the list, but I think that they weren't at a price that I felt that was worth not buying them new from a friendly local game store,
well,
both having them second hand. You want it to be in good condition, but still be of a reasonable value to make it worth that. So
I went in, I said before, I wanted to get Micro Macro. I only saw one copy of it, and it was £15, and you can buy it new from the show floor for 20. So I'd rather get the new version. But I did get,
because you don't know how much that would be marked, specifically a game like that, where people are going to be looking for things and stuff. There's a high chance that the maps and things could be damaged or marked. So
but I got some bargains. I'm pleased with what. So if you've already seen day one vlog, you would have seen which ones these are. But if you haven't seen that, and I can tell you a bit more now about why I got which one.
So you got Megaland, which is the first of many from the Red Raven.
So this is shrink wrapped. It's not been played with, so we know everything is in there. I looked at buying this, and it's been around the sort of £25 mark, but getting harder to buy now because it's an older game. So for £15 shrink wrapped, it's a kind of video game like style game, quicker to play than a lot of the other ones, and I just love the art you get in the Red Raven games. So for £15, I thought, yes, please, let's do that.
Yeah. Here's another Red Raven game.
So Klondike Rush. I didn't know anything about it, but in my day job, I make a TV show that is based in the Klondike. So I saw that and thought, Red Raven, a personal attachment, have a bit of that.
I like the aesthetic, like that icy world looks great. So I'm excited to try this, and it's got like a little Yeti monster kind of thing pictured here, so that should be pretty fun. When
we revealed, obviously in the video, which Bring and Buy games we've got, someone said this is their favourite, or one of their favourite Red Raven games. So I completely stumbled across evidently a good one. So
yeah, nice compact size too.
Yeah, but heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Yeah. Also, 8 Minute Empire we'd been looking to get for quite a long time actually. So yeah, it would be interesting to compare this to some of the others. We did also say, wouldn't it be interesting to sort of think about maybe doing a Red Raven ranking video at some point? So we'll see how that goes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first game Ryan Lowcat did.
Oh, I don't know.
Or certainly one of the earlier ones.
Yeah, it's early-ish for sure.
Because I thought, like I said, we've enjoyed every Red Raven game we played, so I thought, let's go back to the roots and see where it started. So,
we're looking like completionists here, aren't we?
It is heading that way, and it plays in 20 minutes, which is a weirdly specific amount. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but I'm keen to find out whether you can actually play it in 8 minutes. Yeah. Because obviously it's 8 Minute Empire. But we know from things like 5 Minute Marvel that actually is half an hour. So who knows?
I mean, those two were what, £15, and that was
so
10.
8 Minutes Empire was £10, and the other two were 15.
So good value for new games. I mean, this is the biggest bargain, some might say, or certainly the cheapest game that was there.
We saw last year with. If I see a really cheap game that catches my eye, I'll be willing to take a risk on it.
You always do like a bit of a punt game, like something probably usually under a £5, something that just sort of grabs you visually and just think, give this a whirl, see what happens.
Then I got this. It's a family mystery game. I can't find much on it. I've since tried to look, and there's not many videos on it, so I don't know if this is one of those weird games that they sold in some department store.
No, it's a Cheatwell game, so they're relatively well known name here, certainly. So we'll see. I have noticed that someone's put the lid on the wrong way around this time, so that's a little bit irritating. But
yeah, I like those kind of mystery games, and if this is family friendly, I can play it with the children, and hopefully they'll enjoy it too. If not, it's £3, so even if we only play it for an hour or so, and we have an entertaining time, money well spent, really.
You can go back in for £3 next year.
Yeah, if you see it back in there,
keep the sticker on. It won't zap.
Won't even need to update stuff. But that's what I did with last year's £5 punt. That went back into the Bring and Buy for the same price in which I bought it for. So recycling it on, and hopefully whoever's now got that has a better experience than we did.
Yeah.
Now Portal.
Portal, yeah. That's
you know nothing about Portal.
I was confused by this uncooperative cake acquisition, but I had, I've heard of Portal as in the game. I just hadn't associated this with that. And obviously I don't know much about what's in it, and so the whole cake acquisition didn't give me any clues whatsoever. I thought that this was your punt.
No, this is a more expensive.
Game.
I think it's £15, but I've seen it for quite a lot, and I've often wanted to get it because, and to be honest, finding it was a triumph. I've been making a note here, big success. Which is a joke that many people who know Portal will get from this. I love both the Portal games. I think they're really clever, really engaging, and a great sense of humour. I love that kind of eroding science experiment world that Shell gets thrust into. And I had a look at this, and I thought the back of the box was hilarious. So it looks like a 70s game.
It does, it really does.
With a really unhappy family on the back. And if you played the games, this would make sense. And as with all the cake. But when I opened it, you would have seen in the video that I could have got a shrink wrap version, but I got this version because it wasn't. It's got a companion cube in it, and I just thought that's too cute not to buy, because anyone who's finished Portals, potential spoiler warnings here, we have to come to terms with that, and to have the companion cube back in my life has made me feel a bit better than the resolution of that game. And it's got cake in here. I was worried that the cake on the box might be a lie. Turns out there is cake. So yeah. I'm keen to play this because it wasn't a game. I watched a Tom Bassel review and he endorsed it. So I knew very little about it, but apparently it's good. So yay, I'm pleased I took a risk on it.
Nice.
There are Bring and Buy purchases.
So some of you may have seen some of our footage about Bullet Heart by Level 99 Games. We did 5 Reasons to Like. We've also featured it in some of our favourite Game Fridays and things like that. And Level 99 weren't actually at UKGE Expo officially with a stand, but they were there in person, and they had messaged us to say, we've got some little treats for you, which is very kind of them. And we went and we have some extra characters for Bullet Heart, so that was really nice of them. These really mix things up and do different things with the patterns. Beethoven here, for example, can use patterns without needing requirements. So, and this one has some transparent cards.
Transparent cards, so you then you're adjusting, having to layer up your transparent card on top of another card, so it adds a lot of complexity to the game.
Yeah, I think these were sort of charity promos.
Yeah, originally they were.
So they're quite difficult to get over here in the UK, so we're really excited to see what they bring to the game.
Yeah.
They also were kind enough to give us Bullet Orange, which adds some characters which are sort of quite well known from anime, and includes those into the game. So that gives us lots of extra content for that to play with. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, and these work with both Bullet Heart and Bullet Star. So yeah, potentially we've got another 6 characters to mix in, which is good, because that's going to add some, more variety. So that's cool.
Absolutely. And then what we weren't expecting at all, which was very kind of them, was this massive box, bear with me, of Empyreal Spells and Steam. Now this is it's a train game, but we've had a play of it. It doesn't feel like a train game in the same way. I actually really like this way more than I thought I was going to. I can be a bit lukewarm on train games at times, And so I was kind of thinking I'll like it but not love it. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by this one. Really colourful. Every character's got something different going on, and yeah, really interesting game. So I'm excited to play this again. Maybe play it at 2 and see how that works versus a 4-player that we played. So that'd be exciting. And we've both seen the review that Jenna
from Board Game Garden talks about it quite a lot. So
and she really enjoyed this game and is looking forward to try to add it to her collection at some point.
Yes.
So we'd seen that, and then here it came. So super excited.
Yeah, and like all the Level 99 games, it's incredibly luxurious. This one. So thank you so much, Level 99. You've been really generous.
Very kind.
Very much appreciated.
So one of the things that I had pre-ordered and then picked up from the game is a little upgrade for one of my games. There's a lovely company called Geeky Meeples, and they do a lot of 3D printing. And they do that 3D printing in a wide range of colours, more than just the rainbow colours, as you're about to see. Because for this little game here, I was sort of pondering whether I should sort of upgrade to those disc tokens and things. It's quite a lot of money, and I thought, I can buy a whole nother board game with that. Or, what should I do? And with postage and things like that on the sort of Kickstarter game. And so I ended up speaking to Geeky Meeples and seeing what they could do, if they could do anything. And it wasn't in their current range, but we found the sort of correct size and everything that we need. And I now have a whole world of these, all sorts of colours that will go onto those discs. And all the colours that I need for the different characters, so you know which is what. And I just think it will protect that cardboard, stop it getting used or frayed at the edges, and also adds a little bit of sort of clunky tactileness. It'll add more gravitas to when you're getting your token and just dropping it, and there being something there or nothing there. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to having to put on this number of them.
There's a lot.
I think there might be, I think she said there's 235 or something like that. So I might need to put a film on the TV and just sort of mindlessly get through it. I think I'll be pleased when the last one gets clicked on. But yeah, really looking forward to playing the game again with these on, just to add that little bit of deluxe.
And I think those kind of card token draw games like Cracks, for example, need that. And this game looks so lovely. You don't really want those to be burned. We played a game of Cracks a Quaking Bird in a board game cafe, and it'd been obviously used quite a lot. But the pieces were so frayed and damaged. It was just a bit. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
So if we can stop that happening to Wonderland War, I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, and they do great 3D printing. They even did our dice trays for us when we were doing the Dodo competition at the Games Expo, and they were rainbow coloured. They were sparkly. They've got some amazing reels to print with there. So definitely recommend having a little look into Geeky Meeples if you like an upgrade.
Yeah.
We also went to Lucky Duck and sort of more upgradey game stuff. We got some more extras. So exciting. We already have a load of them, but I think it's always handy to have more. It's great when maybe you need one per player around the table. We always have a little stash behind that when we get a game out, we can put some in, but we've got some of them with the splits. You can have a couple of different types of tokens, but sometimes we've got some games that have got either quite a lot of resources or lots of different types, or large ones that you just need a few extras. So
we've experimented in the past with kind of glass pots and things like that, but taking those to Board Game Club, they're quite heavy. I always wonder they're going to break and things, but so I've just kind of settled on these as being the great solution to that. We can take a batch of these, use them for all sorts of different games, and we know things aren't going to roll around in the pub when we're playing a game, so these are good.
And whilst we were at Lucky Duck, they were incredibly kind and gave us Tidal Blades Banner Festival. Now, Tidal Blades Heroes of the Reef is behind Julian. which is a game that we love. We love the artwork and the world of it. And this is a whole different type of game, very much more card play game than that one, but exists in the same universe, the same world, with all that nice art, etc. We've seen some reviews on it, and I think it looks like an interesting play for us. I mean, I would like to get Heroes of the Reef to add an expansion to that as well, but we haven't picked up that yet. But yeah, excited to play this one, and thank you very much to Lucky Duck again. Yeah.
Very generous. Now, you would have seen in one of the vlogs, I got to speak to the people at Dice Heads, and I got very excited about Zoontalis.
Yeah.
I was very excited, really, before we went, about getting a new miniatures game to play with, and they have provided us with lots of goodies, so we can make some fun content on this game. I showed it to you, and we looked at some of the playthroughs of this game, the videos that Dice Heads have put out, and it seems ideal for our needs. It's a family weight skirmish game with beautiful miniatures that remind me a little bit of My Little Scythe.
Yeah.
And we've got enough to play the game. So we've got obviously 4 factions: Feisty Foxes, Raging Rabbits,
Barmy Bats, and Dashing Dinos.
And there's 4 of us.
These are mine.
There's 4 of us in our family, so we're going to kind of take a faction each. I'm taking the foxes, and the girls can decide. And then I'm going to teach you how to do painting using the slap chop technique, and we're going to do videos on that. Because I think you've been keen to paint.
Yeah, I am keen to paint. I'm scared to paint. I worry about like ruining something or not doing it right, not knowing any of those things. But I think maybe there's a lot of people out there like me who haven't necessarily been in the sort of Warhammer worlds and things like that, but have some games, like Rising Sun, like Flamecraft, like varying other ones that have lovely little things that I'd like to make even prettier than they already are. And so maybe we can all try and make these things prettier together, and maybe you can learn from some of my mistakes.
So yeah, we have obviously this is the first time they're doing kind of pre-printed miniatures, so they're moving in that direction. Before it was, you got the files and you printed them yourself. So they are moving into actually having a physical version to buy, and to play the game, obviously we needed.
Yes.
We got a playmat they generously gave us.
Yeah.
So that allows us to play the game.
That'd be great.
It's
all marked off with the spaces, so if you I'm sure you could play it with any kind of gridded one.
Yeah, you do need a grid to play,
but that's
obviously
good.
the playmat's better. We've got some RPG dice we can play.
Yeah, I really like these blue and green ones. They're really lovely. And there's some other little goodies here, some tokens for it and things.
And then the rulebook itself.
And that's the rulebook. So yeah, you'll be seeing obviously a lot more content about this and about painting, as well as the game.
And I'm really excited to play it. As you would have seen in the videos how excited I was. I think this is going to be a fun thing we can do as a family, both painting and then playing the game.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So after we finished filming on day 0, the kind of press day, what we didn't get to film was something that kind of made my day.
You did.
As we were walking out of the halls, we saw someone with a collection of games they were taking to bring and buy, and obviously we know we couldn't check in our games on the Thursday. In the end, he was equally frustrated. But he did have in his bag a game I wanted for such a long time, and I was about to back it on GameFound. And it's Detective City of the Angels, and literally that was going to end in 2 days' time, so I'd have to have backed it on when we're at the UK Games Expo.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the games you actually had in your list. I wonder if I'll find it in the bring and buy, because some people might be doing that. So you're kind of thinking maybe I'll see it there, maybe I'll back it, and then.
But this wasn't $200, or £200. I can't remember how much it was. He gave it to me for such a bargain. And not only this, so we've got the base game and also the first expansion for it. And I haven't gone through all of it, but I trusted him because he obviously mentioned who he was. But I have looked inside the box, and in it hasn't been fully punched. So he said he played the few first cases, but didn't get to finish it. So it's very, very lovely condition.
I love how these little boxes.
The individual cases.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
I got this for a steal. He was so generous. you know, we've said in previous videos, when you're going around the bring and buy, be mindful of how much you're spending. You know, set a price in mind for a game you want. The price I paid for this was less than half what I'd mentally budgeted. And it's in beautiful, beautiful condition.
Yeah, it looks good.
So because I got it for such a, and I really wanted this game. It works well at you can play it one solo, and I know I'm much more interested in this sort of thing than you are.
It's way more your aesthetic and stuff. I mean, I'm definitely wanting to give it a go, but you know, if it does end up being one that you like particularly more than me, then at least that gives you the option that you can continue some of the missions and stuff. So
you would have seen by our Hollywood 1947 obsession, I love that kind of Hollywood era. Anyway, I've talked about that so many times, I'm not going to talk about it now. Because I got it for such a great deal, I then went to Van Ryder Games' stall and said, you know, what have you got that I may not have for Detective? And they kind of went through the shelves and they said, well, we've got an art book. And partly because I hadn't paid as much, I thought, well, sure, okay, yeah, let's have an art book. And inside, not only does it have the art, it's got some of the production process and things like that. And I'm really interested in all of that, really. So they basically went through the shelves and started, you know, saying, well, I'll buy the art book. And they said, oh, do you also want this? And this is
here's a little figure.
So I think he's called Mr. Christmas. I'm not completely sure. Don't quote me on that. But he's currently what you get in the game found. I've got a new score sheet, which is incredibly useful, obviously, because if this one has been used, I can go entirely fresh. And I have a player screen, which I can use for whoever's playing with Screw when they're playing this. And I'm hoping that if this is the Hollywood skyline, you might see on it where I proposed and things like that. And so I
certainly got the Hollywood sign there.
Yeah, so I got all of this for £15 for all of this extra stuff. So on top of that, I paid £50 for all of that in total.
Yeah, amazing.
So I was absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, it's like last year's Rising Sun. This is the steal of the show, probably.
Like I said, all in lovely condition. And I think, with the exception of getting to peel off the shrink wrap, I would have known it wasn't you. So yeah, really excited. And yeah, if I end up playing this as you, super. If I end up playing it solo, I think this might be a nice solo adventure.
Well, it's Van Ryder Games who do Final Girl, and they're so well known for how well that works solo. So I'm expecting that that this will be just as good as a solo if necessary. Yeah.
Really excited to play it. Every day's a school day, and at the Board Game Expo, I spoke to the designer of Hamlet. And I learnt what a Hamlet was, which you thought was hilarious. I didn't know.
I mean, I grew up in a small village. I was fully aware of a Hamlet. You know, under 8 houses. Yeah. No church.
But it's the end of Hamlet week. Do you have a good Hamlet week?
Wonderful Hamlet week.
Happy Hamlet
especially
week.
Because the people at Mighty Boards were very kind and gave me a copy of the game that I have been looking after on my wish list for a long time now. I've seen quite a lot of bits and pieces on it and always thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. I'm really intrigued to try that one. Petricor. It's a sort of a weather sort of theme going on. You're the cloud, which is interesting in itself. And yeah, I love the aesthetic of it. I mean, it just looks so appealing, I think, this cover, to me anyway. So yeah, they were very kind and gifted us a copy of that to have a look at, have a play, and I'm sure you'll see more about that.
We'll do some more content on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, same designer as Hamlet. So yeah, we want to get through this because Hamlet is coming back to Kickstarter with the expansion. So if we play this and like it, I'm sure that'll be something we're considering backing. When that's launched, because we haven't got enough board games to play through already.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yes.
And another one that's been your wish list for, I mean, not that long.
No, it was
since your recent BGA obsession.
It was something I said I wanted to go, and I've never enjoyed these kind of 2-player dual games until this.
Until
you know what it is. It's boop.
Boop. Boop. Yeah. Boop. You went to Chaos Cards and picked up a copy of this. It was firmly on your wish list from the get-go.
It was the first thing I bought, and Chaos Cards was always the shop I was going to go to buy it. It's our friendly local game store. So we do like to support those, even though when we're not in the same area, but they're literally just down the road from us.
Yeah.
And I said I wanted to get Boot before I went, so I was always going to get it, and I'm pleased I did because it sold out at Chaos. It sold out
Did
elsewhere,
it? Oh.
and our friend who was jealous that I bought it went to buy it elsewhere, and it's more expensive.
Oh.
So I got what I wanted for the best price.
Excellent. Yeah. And it's super fun, and I love how you get the like quilt on it for the cats to be on.
We're going away on holiday. I'm going to try and work out if I can shoehorn this into the suitcase somewhere, so we can play some boop.
Yeah.
Away.
I think that'd be a good plan. Yeah.
So yeah, £25. I thought it was a great price.
Yeah. We also went and saw Duranda Games, and we'd been speaking before on social medias with them, and super excited about Solar Sphere, which you would have seen us mention briefly in our top 10 games we were excited about for the show video. And so they very kindly gifted us a copy to have a closer look at and a play and tell you more about. And whilst they were there, they also gave us, which won one of the judges' awards at UK Games Expo, Isle of Trains. So another train game is interesting, and you'd seen another train game whilst you were there.
Yes,
the one with the strings
I played String Railway. So we might have an upcoming video about train games that you wouldn't expect to be train games that are fun.
Yeah, so maybe we are getting on to this train game thing. But
all aboard the train thing.
All aboard the train thing. Yeah. Boop. No, I can't do a hoot hoot. I think the silly noises.
I'm pretty sure boop boop also works.
But yeah, so and I appreciate a smallish box. Maybe we might take this one on holiday as well. We'll see what we can fit in our luggage. But thank you very much to Duranda Games for these two, and we will talk more about them soon.
Yeah.
So a Games Expo isn't just about like actual full games themselves. There's lots of add-ons and bits and bobs, and one of which I picked up from Folded Space. You might have seen some of our other Folded Space videos where we've done some things for Tapestry.
Yeah.
We have it for Kotoku, for quite a few other of our games. And so I've picked one up for Anachrony, which is a game I'm yet to play, but... so hopefully I get the Folded Space, get it all neat and tidy, understand what each of the components are, and that will help us get it to the table.
You make a good point. I mean, often, although you haven't played this, it reinforces what's there and what everything does, because obviously you need to know which component goes where. So yeah, it does work quite well.
And I think for me it like hypes up the excitement for getting it to the table and things. So, and it's one that I have been really interested in for a long time. I remember seeing some videos from the Dice Tower, a good couple of years ago with Tom Vassell talking about how much he enjoyed this game as a Euro and stuff like that. So it's been on the wish list for a long time, and it's a sort of relatively recent acquisition, a bit of a naughty purchase in a sale somewhere. I thought this would be super handy for that.
Yeah. And if you want to see why we like Folded Space so much, have a watch of the Folded Space Tapestry video. Because we talk a lot about why we want to get these for every single game we have.
And maybe I'll make you make this one up for me so you get more practice.
I'm not doing that again. So much stress.
You need the practice.
I probably do. So a lot of random curios.
Yeah, there's a few little bits and bobs. So Don't Get Got is a party-ish game that you've played.
I played it quite
a few times, yeah. And it was funny because you were only saying sort of on the way up, if we went on holiday with people or something like that, wouldn't it be fun to get a copy and play something like that that's on a sort of a longer period of time? Or maybe if you're at an expo with people all together and you're there, for 4 or 5 days all hanging out together, what a great way to have a bit of extra fun to sort of put this in. Because other points when it's great is when everyone's sort of forgotten that it's even running in the background, and then all of a sudden it's like
my favourite ever moment was when my friend Smithy were playing a Christmas version of it, and he had to say had to get someone to look up in the sky and say, oh, it's snowing, when there's no snow, and he'd left it the entire night. We played it, we were having a whole night together, and just as we were all leaving, he said, oh, and it's snowing. A whole group of sort of 12 of us looked up, and he was just standing there with the challenge in his hand, and we all had to respect this glorious moment. It was fantastic. This is a sort of free demo version.
Everyone thought it was over,
and it's so it's got all the challenges in, and
and I think it's the kind of game once you've played once or twice you could make your own personalised Don't Get Gots for, which could be quite fun. And you also picked up That's not a hat.
It's not a hat. So we got this at the press preview. It's similar to this. It's a demo version of a kind of party game. But yeah.
Yeah. So
from Open and Don't Get Up was from Big Potato Games.
You've picked up a new scorecard here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would have seen my coverage on String Railways, and while I was there I said about how we were playing this on a plane and left it, you know exactly where it was. It's in the glove compartment on an American Airlines plane.
Yeah. Whoops.
So I mentioned that. Well, I mentioned it before we went. I said, are you going to sell the score pads? And they thought we played it 100 times and said, well, we do like it, but not that much.
We hadn't had a chance to do that just yet.
And I got there and he said, oh, you're a scorepad man. And they gave it to us. I've had loads of nicknames really this year.
You have, yeah.
It's Dodo Man as well. So they gave us a copy, which is really nice. And obviously we're playing String Railway, which is a game I've been talking a lot about how much I enjoyed.
Yeah. We went out to dinner with some friends of ours and had a wonderful time catching up with them. And one of them had done these cute 3D printed dinos. We have two of them. And you can, flick them across the table. You can just
of all the things we've had kicking about in our hotel rooms, we've got excited about this little dino.
Yeah, I mean they're so tactile and cute. Yeah, so that was really sweet. Very kind of them to give us all a copy. It was quite fun after a mass game of Just One again with some of the people that we were friends with from Aircon. So that was amazing. Yeah, that was really fun.
I'm going to hold on to this while you get our bits.
Oh yeah, just so you can
get it. Enjoy them.
Obviously Disney Locano was super busy stand there. Didn't have the game for sale yet. It's not out to release just yet, but everyone was enjoying having a look at it, getting a little play test. But they did have some pins, some special Locana pins, so we did manage to pick up a few copies of those. So
they want a winner because everyone knows about Disney pin collectors. Is a big thing. So it's great to have these. We'll put these on our Disney pin lanyard.
Yeah, because as you know, we're huge Disney fans. So
they'll be on there with our Disneyland stuff.
And whilst we're talking about pins, we also got a few lovely ones from Patterson Games, who are the guys who did Distilled. So we've got a few little...
and I got these...
the Distilled logo, the company logo, a couple of little pins there.
That's Sanjival, isn't it? He says at the end of our video, which will be coming up soon, about 5 reasons to be excited about Distilled. We're going to be doing something similar for Lufia, and if you want to see my thoughts on Lufia, that's also in the vlog, because I got a chance to play an early prototype of that.
Yeah, super fun.
Well, the game is super fun.
Yeah. The guys at Catan gave us a rose quartz robber, so that's really lovely. A nice little upgrade for that game. Again, really tactile because it's made out of the quartz crystal, so it feels really lovely to pick up and play with. So that's really nice. Yeah,
that's it. A lovely surprise.
Apparently they were at a Gamescom, I think it was in Malta, and they had ones out of turquoise because it matched all the sort of Mediterranean waters there, which is really nice. But at the UK Games Expo they had rose quartz, which is nice. And you picked up quite a few other little bits and random things. I can't really remember where.
But Osprey Games have just help yourself if you're missing a component bin. Which just has all these random bits in it. And I know we always play blue and green. Yeah. So I thought certain miniatures game might be more useful to have, make it like clearer. But yeah, they had a big bucket of stuff there, so I just kind of I didn't want to take too much, so I took green things for you, and I wanted to get using our player colours. And our friend also plays yellow, so they're the people we play a lot with, so I thought, why not? They're free. Excellent. Incredibly generous. Thank you, Osprey Games.
One thing I didn't even know existed.
I didn't.
Was an expansion for Oink Games Deep Sea Adventure. Now, we've mentioned Deep Sea Adventure quite a few times on the channel. It's one that we really enjoy. We like most of the Oink games, if we're honest. But yeah, and one you've been introducing your daughters to recently on the app and then in person as well.
To be honest,
I'm just really enjoying this. To be honest, like a little rattle, but it's got a cool die.
So yeah, you replace one of the dice from Deep Sea Adventure with that one, and basically I don't know if it makes it more complicated or less complicated. Really, it basically allows you to move further. So on the dice you have a ×3, which is ×3 of what was on the other dice.
Right.
So potentially you could be moving 9 spaces, which is a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, because I always sort of get part way down and then think, right, I'll have one more roll. I'll probably only go a couple more spaces. Might just get me the next shaped token that's a bit better, and that'll be fine. And that's always the point that I roll a 6, and then I'm thinking, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I'm going to have enough there to get back up again.
So,
So,
but the problem with that is, of course, Deep Sea Adventure is very much a 2-stage game. So, also rolling the multiplier on that could mean you go super deep into the water. But what I do like is the kind of balancing mechanism that the other face of the dice here, and that's move forwards an equal number to other players ahead of you.
oh, okay.
So if you're obviously really far into it and you've got sort of 5 people playing, you could be leaping on 5 steps, and obviously you can't land on the same space as another player, so that's really going to help you catch up. So both of these are just ways of adding both complexity, I suppose, to the game, but also just helping it work a bit better.
Yeah, and there's two
obviously-
new divers.
And obviously with this, this isn't a box, it's an Oink Games dice tray.
It is, yes.
So yes, it is. On the surface, I'm paying £10 for dice, but I'm getting an Oink Games dice tray,
and 2 divers.
2 divers as well. So I'm hoping. I'm not sure if it will, but maybe that might fit into the box. We'll see. But I really like this game. So, yeah, a collection of random curios we got.
That's probably another one we'll take on holiday with us and play some more. Yeah. So we visited the lovely people at Hachette Games, and one of the things that's been on my shopping list to get for you for quite a while, I've seen quite a lot of reviews when you look at sort of Dice Tower top 100 games at the beginning of the year, and the year before and things like that. One of the games that really stood out that I thought that you were going to love and that we'd enjoy playing together was Outlive, and they had there a swanky collector's edition, and I just thought, I can't pass that up, right? So we haven't played the game.
Nope.
And we've gone straight in for the collector's edition, which I think is pretty much, I think there was only a few there. I don't know if it's like sort of remaining sort of
I learned
tail end of the Kickstarter stuff.
I learned from a comment recently on one of our videos that this is an older game, so obviously the stock of these kind of things are not going to last forever, and they won't be redoing this.
No, I wasn't sure whether this was a reprint or just of what was the Kickstarter stuff, maybe a few tweaks of different things that aren't so exclusive at that point. But I know that it does have all the like mini pieces and everything in there, rather than the sort of tokens as you'd expect with a sort of deluxe game. And it is quite a hefty, large thing.
Big boy.
But I just think the theme and the gameplay from what we've seen from reviews looks like it's going to be right up our street.
Yeah,
so,
you showed me. You mentioned I had never heard of it, and you mentioned it in a Dice Tower and said, "Have a watch this game. You'd really like it." And I did watch it and think, "Oh, that went on my wish list."
Yeah.
So
because I tried to get it for you for like previous Christmases and things like that, so I was really pleased to see that they had some copies here, and particularly to be able to pick up a collector's edition.
Yeah,
it is great, because I think hopefully it will be a game that we absolutely love, and then you've got all those extra bits and bobs from the get-go, and yeah.
What was good was they were doing a offer for the Games Expo that if you bought 3 things you saved 10%.
So of course we did that, didn't we?
So for bigger purchases, it saves a lot. But obviously we had to buy 3 things then.
We had to buy 3 things. If you watch the channel regularly and if you've seen our top 50 games this year, you know that we like Geeky. And there's an expansion and it has boats in it. I mean, could it get any more perfect than that?
Yeah.
So this one had to come in. For sure, yeah, we really enjoyed that game. There's still a lot of fires. You still got to be careful that your building's not going to burn down. But
they could put out with more water now. There's a whole arena nearby. So, but just stop selling the cigars and the pipes. Problem solved.
mean, there's supply and demand. But yeah, there's a whole new section one side, and there's a whole boats things going on, so it adds extra bits going on to the game.
I'm pleased it solved the niggle I had, which was the market didn't refresh enough, and that's solved in this expansion. It wasn't a problem. It didn't break the game. We obviously still really loved it.
Yeah.
But if there's one bit I thought was, that's a bit. I think we would eventually kind of house ruled it, so we refreshed it more like we do with Everdale.
Right.
But that solves it. This solved it.
Yeah.
And it has an extra bit. So yeah. More Iki. Akiboro.
With boats. Yay. And so the third one that we couldn't help but buy was, I think, must be like the hotness.
It was the hottest game on the show.
The con. I think Friday they sold out of all their stock within, what did you say?
12
minutes. And then they luckily managed to get themselves a restock for the Saturday morning, and then there was a queue like so
you
long
would have seen it in our vlog.
to get it. But after us, we saw it at the press preview and thought it looked fab. I mean, the artwork on the cards and things, it's Vincent Dutray art, so you know immediately it's fantastic. And there's all these different apes going on.
It's strange because I talked about fear of missing out in one of the videos when we were talking about about how many Kickstarters there were and bringing by. This has got a unique cover that you can only get at the UK Games Expo.
I think it's in the UK, not at the Expo.
UK.
It's the UK print.
I always wanted to get the UK version of it.
Yeah, with Big Ben there, that sort of.
And what was nice was Florian was there, and you would have seen our interview, a very brief interview of him. So we signed our copy inside, which is fantastic. And
that's one of the great things about the expo. There's so many of the designers are there. You've met several of them. You would have seen you chatting to them in the vlog videos that we had there. But how lovely to sort of go and chat to the people that actually designed and made the game and see how passionate they are about it, and have that person explain the game to you is one of the benefits and joys of going to a con.
We're so lucky by virtue of having a press pass. We got access to a lot of the designers who were then showing us their game, and you could just feel their enthusiasm, and that's always infectious. It's always so fantastic. And we had a few experiences of that, and it was so lovely to have seen his reaction to this ridiculous queue, people literally running from the door to Hachette to get after us. And it would have sold out in less time than it did. They just couldn't run it through the till quick enough. There's a video they tweeted, and it's on their social media, of just a kind of time lapse of people queuing and they're just churning it out, and it sold again super quickly. I needed to find out how quickly it did sell, but Florian was lovely, and it's so great he was willing to share that moment with people.
So we're really excited to play that, and we also have a poster for that one. So that's fun.
This was kind of to award the people who, I think partly because of the queue, partly because of the demand, but to award the lucky people who got it, they also got a free poster, which is the box art as well.
We're hoping that in the not too distant future we might be able to have a sort of dedicated gaming room, so something like this that we can put up on the wall is going to be fab for that. And then a couple of other things that they very kindly gave us to review from Hachette whilst we were there getting our treats there is a game that I'd been super interested in. I saw the review from the Dice Tower recently, Valbara, and it got amazing reviews from them. I think 8.5 pluses across the board, and just looks really interesting. So I'm excited to play that. That's another one that I think that we might take away with us, because nice smallish box there. Excited for that. So thank you very much to Hachette for that.
While I was looking around Hachette, I saw food trucks.
You did, and that food trucks mean a lot to us. I mean, of course, there's food trucks at the games cons, and they come sort of synonymous with that, and we get to try food like poutine and things like that we don't always get access to here. But whilst we were in LA getting engaged last year, one of the things that we really wanted to do and really enjoyed and ended up doing at that evening of getting engaged.
Since the first evening meal was food trucks.
Was going to the LA food trucks. So to have a little game all about food trucks is sort of quite sentimental for us. So really excited to play that, see how that plays. And yet another one that hopefully we can squeeze in the holiday bag. I've said that on quite a few of these games.
We're going to take a second suitcase just full of games.
A little bit worrying.
I'll take less clothes.
What's the baggage allowance?
Not enough. We cannot take Outlive with us.
Probably not that one.
No. So just a second ago we were talking about how great it is when a designer teaches you the game, and we got to meet the designer Morton of Viking Raiders at the press preview, and we spoke to him beforehand, and so he knew we were coming, and we wanted to get a chance to meet him. And he was so enthusiastic about this game. He said he wanted to make a game, that was his ambition, and if he was going to make a game he wanted it to be a luxurious, good quality game, and this won both the judges' choice and the people's choice for in the UK Games Expo Award. So it's great to get to play this, and he said, look, Do you want to have a copy, have a play of it, and then let me know what you think. We haven't had a play of it, but we played with him, and we're going to communicate back with him our thoughts as we play it. But what I've played so far, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, actually one of my highlights. I was working most of the con, and just got a couple of little bits and bobs to run off for lunch breaks and things like that. And one of those was spent pretty much playing this game. If you watch the channel regularly, you know that I love that Viking theme and stuff. So we were sat there on the bench with the faux fur rugs over it that made you feel like a Viking, and playing this super fun card game that's good for families but still good at our sort of level. I mean, I made some ridiculous mistakes, but I think I was tired. It was the last day of the con. Brain wasn't working on full cylinders. But whilst we were there at the stand, some actual Vikings came up and got their copy signed. So I just think, well, if it's good enough for real life Vikings, I'm going to love it too, right?
Yeah, so it's a Viking endorsed Viking game. You can't get better than that.
Exactly, yeah. And then we popped along to Emperor S4, and they very kindly have given us Walking in Burano, the roll and write version. So there's a normal Walking in Burano. We have another Burano, which is not an Emperor's S4 game, and now there's Walking in Burano, roll and write. So we are enjoying roll and writes, and we like the welcome twos and some of those. So and I really love this theme and how colourful the Burano towns are in all of those games. So really looking forward to having a try of this and seeing how that differs to some of those other games.
Yeah, so we've recently been playing Geisha's Road and Hanamakoji, which we got on Kickstarter, and we've done some videos on those. So it's nice that they did see those and they contacted us and said, have a look at this. So very generous of them to let us have this. Yeah. And they got a lot of good games coming up on the horizon. You might have seen some featured in our vlog videos.
Yeah, some of them look really exciting.
A duo of cyberpunk games. Actually,
yeah.
And then
exciting.
We got a game that was on my list of 10 games. I was 10 games I was most excited about.
Yes.
Astro Navigators, and getting to meet the designer of this was fantastic. I had a sit down with him, and we talked through the game and how it all works, and had an hour-long chat about playing the game. I think we were intending to, but then we just started talking, and it was just lovely to kind of engage with him. And we're going to be doing some content on this, 5 reasons to be excited about this game as it approaches, becoming a thing, becoming a realisation of a passion project.
And I think this is another one of those times when you said, talking to the designer, that passion and that interest that they've got and that dedication they've had to their project, their baby, has really sort of infused through and comes through them into you trying to play the game. And so it was one of those moments where you're like, I don't know, just so excited from their excitement level as well. But I mean, it was on my list of ones that I was interested in. Yeah.
So I was talking to Vincent. Vincent was lovely, and it's all based on science, on proper scientific theory, based on his work, and using that to create a lovely board game. But I said, you need to meet this guy. And as we're walking at the end of the day one day, we had a brief chat with him. And you felt the same as I did. You can just feel from people like that this is what they're passionate about, and that really comes across in this game.
Yeah. So excited, and I mean, look at these dudes. So you might be watching this video thinking, okay, they've got some review copies, and Julian's picked up quite a lot of games, but where are Libby's? Well, that's what I would be thinking anyway. I didn't get a chance to get to the Bring and Buy, and I didn't get around to go shopping very much. There's certainly several things that I thought were on my shopping list that haven't come home with me. But there is something that I didn't think that I would see, and I did, and I'm very excited for. I've been saying that I wanted to play Vindication for a long, long time, and it's another one of those Kickstarter regrets that I didn't do. But I went over to Chaos Cards, and as Julian said earlier, one of our friendly local game stores super close to us. And before they'd even opened, I think it was on the Thursday, they were setting up, and I was just sort of wandering around, and I saw there on their sort of displays that they were finishing setting up this baby of the collector's edition of Archive of the Ancients, everything sort of in there, and I just couldn't resist. So I mean, it's pretty much blown my gaming budget for the
you spent all your budget on one game.
I mean, luckily we got some money back for the bring and buy games, but
that paid for a chunk of it.
Yeah, it did, and it's something that I've wanted for a long time. And as I said, I did nearly back it on Kickstarter, but I'm very excited to delve into this and have a better look at it. I think the whole theme of you've been a bit of a vagabond, bit of a bad one, getting kicked off and chucked onto some island,
ending up on an island to redeem yourself,
and sort of get a clan of people together and sort of try to bring back some reputation. So it's still in all its stuff. I have no idea what's happening at this stuff at the back. More exciting stuff than this. I don't know how we got all of this back in the
it was
car.
Fun to carry that.
Yeah,
as you would have seen on the journey on one of the vlogs, I filmed some section about having to carry the car. I believe just before filming that, I was carrying this back to the car, and it was not. I mean,
quite a sunny day.
Well, God bless that minibus that carried you from the expo to the car parks, because I'm not sure I could have carried that all that way. It's a beast. But
it's not as heavy as Frosthaven, but it's quite a
pretty
chunk.
chunky.
Quite a chunk.
Yeah. And I'm pleased you got it. I mean, I was just talking about designers being enthusiastic. I'm eager to play this because I know how much you've been wanting to get it for a long time, and as costly as it was.
I
was still
I probably
cheaper
wish I'd got the base game at some point, because we won't get to all the content in
here.
No,
but it's still, I think, cheaper than if you'd backed on Kickstarter and then obviously paid the postage for this this little small one. Yeah, would have been comparable amounts. So I'm just really pleased you got it, and I'm pleased you treated yourself really, and for a good price.
Yeah, so that is our haul. I think it's we couldn't have fitted more games in the car if we tried. I don't think.
We also did
next
have
year maybe we need a roof box.
Yes, we did. We did have it. A fully loaded boot. The back seat was full of games. We got a lot.
Yeah.
And we always appreciate how fortunate we are to get access to these games. It's not something we take for granted, and it's very much appreciated that we can we are able to buy these, and obviously people are also very generous to us, and that's always appreciated.
Yeah, and we want to say thank you again to all of the publishers that have trusted in us to give us some copies to review, and of course you will be seeing more about those and the ones that we treated ourselves to as well.
But what did we get that you'd be excited by, and what should we have bought? Toyed with the idea of getting Shatterpoint, but you would have seen the video. I want to see really how that game develops, and also I got
Star Wars Carcassonne. Back on the
I
shelf.
had to put that back. For some reason I didn't buy Covenants, even though there's many opportunities too. But we've got so many exciting things there. Really excited about potentially the rest of the year's worth of games there. To work through.
Lots of content coming up. Well, at least into lesson.
Can't get this on a plane.
No.
But if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching, and you're liking what you're doing. Do have a look back through our UKGE Expo coverage. You've got a vlog, an on the shore vlog from every single day we were on the show, and obviously we've got our predictions of what we wanted. Mm-hmm. How well did we do on those? Do let us know down below. Yeah. We do a variety of content. It's all about board games. There's 2 to 3 videos a week. We do the Favourite Game Friday. That's also on the Dice Tower. And you'll see reviews from us, just general chats, 5 things you might like about games. Lots of different types of things, but all about board games. So if that's your jam, as it is us, then do subscribe. Yeah. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Done. Can I open this now?